Hi there, welcome back in another one of my videos. Guys, we are in my living room. Let me know what you think about this setup. Quite different from my kids' play area. Seriously, let me know if you like this setup. What do you guys think about hitting other children? I don't know if you ever found yourself in a situation when your child was pushed or hit. What do you do? What do we do as parents? I was raised in a family where we're not supposed to hit. Of course, you're not supposed to fight, but since I was the youngest child of two, I had an older brother. So he always beat the shit out of me, even though my mom told us don't fight, and I could never fight him back. So I grew accustomed to that situation, that it's not okay to fight ever, and that's what I tried to do with my kids initially. I wanted them to be nice. And I think your parents raised you in a similar way. They really wanted you to be this beautiful, nice child, which is fantastic, an ideal world, right? But unfortunately, we are in a real world and the situation here is different because kids fight, kids hate each other, they push each other. Let's get into the heart of this video. I literally tell my kids to fight back. When someone hits them, hit in the same way. When someone pushes them, push them back. When my child is hit, for example, the mother comes in and is like, oh, don't hit her, just apologize. Many times my child would be pushed or hit, and then another child comes in, says I'm sorry, or don't even say it because they're so young that they can't even speak. So what they do, they hug. After several situations, my daughter was 2.5 and she was pushed on the playground, and automatically next thing she does, she hugs the child. And I'm thinking, why do you hug the child? He just hit you, right? You're supposed to hit him back. And I was not okay with that. When they grow a little bit older and they are able to speak, parents tell them, okay, you just hit that girl, apologize. And the child goes, sorry. What do we learn from that experience? So now I literally tell my kids to fight back. Some of you don't know me, but I love martial arts and I practiced karate for many years. In karate, we had one rule: do not punch in the face. But in Muay Thai, we had a different rule. The rule was when someone punches you, you hit them back. So I do understand some kids punch as an accident, but some of them do not punch as an accident. But anyway, bottom line is, in Muay Thai, in sparring once, I hit the girl accidentally and I said, oops, I'm sorry, I really did not mean to hit you. She gets up, punches me back in the face, and she says, no problem. The lesson that I learned is, yes, I can hit someone accidentally, but even if I apologize, it doesn't do the same trick when you get punched in the face, because I got punched, right? So I want this lesson that I learned, I want to transfer it onto my kids, and that's what I teach them. When someone hits you, you hit them back. When someone pushes you, you push them back. Now, I'm not telling you how to raise your kids, but by all means, I'm not telling you guys you have to teach your kids to punch and to kick. Another thing that happened to me and my daughter actually was when my daughter was almost 4, we put her in a different preschool, and she was the only child who spoke English in that school. Everybody else was speaking different languages. So what happened? The kids created different groups. The kids who communicated in their own languages, they had their own groups, and my child was excluded and nobody wanted to play with her. Not only not to play with her, but they would take away toys from her hands when she was playing with something. They would be like pushing her because they were stronger. They had groups and my daughter was only one. And I didn't find it out until 2.5 months after that. Ultimately, I think my daughter learned that that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, the other kids had priority. They could push her, they could hit her, they could take away the toys, and she became this person in this lowest position, and it was okay to punch her, it was okay to push her, and it was okay to be pushed around. And I just asked her about it. She's like, okay, do you like going to school? She said yes. Do you like the kids? Yes. Why? They don't want to play with you, they push you around. And I think my kids psychologically learned like that's her position in school. So I've been reading a lot of stuff about it. Now that's the second takeaway from the video, guys. When the child is being pushed and she or he gets up, automatically pushes it back, that's our instinct. That's our natural defense. Some kids just stand there and they don't know what's going on, but some kids do have natural reaction to push it back. Now, I have 2 kids. It is easier with 2 kids because the kids will ultimately fight. My kids, of course, they've been fighting. I want my kids to learn how to deal with this physical altercations initially on their own. I want them to be able to sort it out by themselves without me stepping in. and like telling them not to fight, stop fighting, because kids will fight. There is also good thing and bad thing about it. Bad thing is, of course, as a parent, I don't want my kids to fight, but they will fight. It's just unavoidable for me. But the good side is actually that they get a chance to practice. They're not afraid of being hit or punched. It doesn't come as a shock initially to them. They get used to it, and ultimately probably they'll get better. But I do believe in the long run, when they go outside, when they go to school and bullying happens, and it will happen because it happens at every single school, I want my kids to be able to defend themselves. Like I said initially, it is our natural mechanism. Kids should be able to defend themselves. Which brings me to the second point. What happens when my child initiates the fight at home or outside? Of course, I teach them not to be the initiator. Do not hit, do not punch first. If they do, however, they have to be punished. So if it happened, for example, if my daughter hit my son, I take away her toy. If my son pushed my daughter on the playground, even though he's only 3, she's almost 6, nothing happened to her, I told him, do not do that. Next time you push her or anybody else, we're gonna go home. So if they're outside, of course, they don't want to go home. So they need to have some sort of punishment in order to understand that they cannot be initiators. And I think it's very important for them to understand, because I don't want my kids to go to school and be people who beat other kids up, right? I want them to be able to defend themselves, but I don't want them to fight other kids just because they know how to fight. So basically, it is important to treat our kids, even though they're 3, treat them as an adult. Just have a conversation and explain it to them. Whatever they understand, they'll understand. And I think at 3, they do understand a lot. The last thing is, I notice when my child is being hit by someone else's child, people are on the phone, parents are on the phone, they don't see it. But when my child comes in, like takes the toy away from someone else's, they go like, oh, he took your toy. Suddenly parents intervene. They're like interested, they're in. But if your child causing all the drama and all the harm, you don't see it, right? So just be aware of it as a parent. And if I can give you one advice from this video, I don't want you to teach your kids how to fight or, but be aware that you're a responsible parent. You're responsible for your children's action, ultimately, and it's your obligation to defend your child. So if you find yourself in a situation like you're in a park or in a library and the child comes in and keeps hitting your child, keeps pushing your child, you can always call the police. You can always call the security, and don't be afraid to do that, For me, it's one-time rule. If someone else's child pushes my child, I'll let you know, don't do that, okay? And I'll let the parent know, don't, or watch your child. But if they come in and do it again, you already knew, you were noticed. Now it's time for someone else. Call authorities and deal with that, because clearly it's out of your control. If you cannot control your child now, God knows what's going to happen when your child goes to high school, right? So anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. Be a responsible adult. Do whatever you want. But I'm sharing this with you because I think it's important for us parents to share certain experiences. And I wish I had my experiences 5 years ago when my kids were much younger, and I'll probably teach them that from scratch. Bottom line, my approach now, it doesn't have to be yours. My approach to raise my kids right now is one: when someone hits you, you hit them back, all right? You should probably look around, where are you in different scenarios. But when someone hits you, you hit them back. Someone pushes you, you push them back. When someone hits my child and then they run, want to apologize, don't accept any apologies, okay? No hugs, for sure. There's no hugs, because it's gonna confuse my kids. First they get punched or hit, and then they get hugged. What the heck? So there's no hugs. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you liked the video. Bye-bye.